pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces as we do each meeting, and also remember two local residents that have passed, Betty Johnston and Jerry Selby. Thank you. I'm going to All right, before we do the agenda, two things. Second thing is that I have an update on the coronavirus that I'd like to give to the community. And before we do that, I would like us to stand and give an ovation to our doctors, our nurses, our EMS workers and volunteers, all who have gone and continue to go and will over the next months above and beyond to protect us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would like to give an update on the current situation with coronavirus. Obviously, this has been a challenging couple of weeks for everyone. This virus is affecting us all in one way or another. As of today, there are no known cases here in Highland Falls, although there are, as a couple of hours ago, 11 cases in Orange County. As mayor, I have been attending daily update meetings with county officials, including the Department of Health, the Department of Emergency Services, the New York State Health Department, and CDC. We all know this is a very fluid situation, changing hourly. We also all know the basic ways of protection. Wash hands often, keep a social distance, don't touch your face, and cover your mouth, your nose when you sneeze. Last week, I held a department head meeting here downstairs with all departments in attendance. We went over employee health concerns along with our responsibility to the public. We also went over our inventory of equipment and supplies. I can report to you that we are ready for whatever comes. We are also doing extra cleaning in Village Hall, the police department, and all public buildings here in the village. We are reviewing existing plans and procedures and identifying critical job functions, keeping in mind if employees are out. Local, large attendant events, at this point under 50, will be up to the organizers until the federal, state, county, or local officials decide to step in. I am well aware of the high-risk group for which I am part of. If anyone needs to talk to help settle your fears, please call me at 446-3400. Locally, the Zoning Board of Appeals next meeting has been canceled. The Planning Board next meeting has been canceled. Tomorrow's meeting of senior citizens, the Highlanders, has been canceled. Schools are closed. The library is closed. And some churches are closed. All bars and restaurants, as of today, can only do takeout after 8 p.m. Orange Regional Hospital and St. Luke's are designated hospitals for the virus.
That would be before 8 p.m., Mr. Mayor.
They can
Takeouts before.
no, takeout is anything after 8 p.m.
No. It's not-
County and the state, let's see, this is county news now. State is setting up a test site. There was going to be one at Thomas Bull County Park, but that is not open. And so the only drive-in testing area will be, at this point, Anthony Wayne. And that's being set up by the state. They hope to have it in operation come this Wednesday, the 18th of March. If the police department gets infected with the virus, mutual aid, county sheriff's department, state police will help with support. The county has a plan to notify police departments, fire departments, and EMS of any resident with this virus. The reason for this is they don't want the whole team rushing into someone's house. I think the protocol is going to be one person will go in, assess, and come back out and talk to his fellow workers. Supermarkets are 1 to 2 days behind stocking. So if dairy products, they're about a day behind. Meat could be like 2 days. Over 20,000 test kits have gone out to emergency services. There are certain motels to hold folks that need to be quarantined, but the county would prefer you stay in your own home. The county is urging residents to only seek essential services, such as the Department of Motor Vehicle. Please use, when you can, online as much as possible. At West Point, the restricted access is only to DOD cardholders. There's no visitors allowed. The museum has closed, and 4,400 cadets, most of who are on spring break, will not be able to come back until March 29th, and that actually could be extended. Orange and Rockland, there will be no shut-offs during this health crisis. All nursing homes and long-term care centers are closed to visitors. The county has given me, I have a direct line from the county for any help. Also, I have a direct line to the garrison commander, for which we talk every day. I would like to give a few numbers out for information. And if you're not able to write these numbers down, you can call tomorrow downstairs and we'll have them to give out. You can call 446-3400 if you can't write these numbers down now. If you feel there's any price gouging going on, 845-360-6700. If you would like to have meals delivered from the county, because the nutrition site has been shut down until further notice, but they will deliver meals, you can contact 615-3710. Questions regarding the virus, you can call the Orange County Department of Health, 291-2330, or visit orangecounty.gov.com/health. And again, the number downstairs to get these numbers, if you can't write them down now, is 446-3400. Also downstairs is a flyer on the counter for those speaking Spanish. And on here basically is to stay a social distance away, to cover your mouth and your eyes, and to stay home if you're sick, and to do cleaning, and all of that is on here in Spanish. Our insurance company has given us paperwork that are reading, the clerk and I, and we'll disseminate this out to employees, and also our insurance company has provided the same, for which we're reading, and it's an assistance program if employees have any issues that they want to talk to someone about. Downstairs in the lobby, we are collecting dry food, cereal, water, toiletries, to be delivered to the elderly who are homebound or are in need during this health crisis. Again, you can leave items downstairs Monday through Friday to 4 p.m. After that, or on weekends, you can deliver it to the police department. And I will deliver it to those that are in need, whether you're a senior citizen or not. So in closing, I know very personally, the strength of the people here in Holland Falls. And we will weather through this. God bless. Thank you. Okay. Is there any comments on the agenda or any other items that someone would like to speak about? Yes. State your name.
Thank you. My name is Mindy Kimball, and thank you for hearing me out here in the Village Board. I am a member of the Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee for the town of Hirings, and Ms. Olga Anderson was planning to be here tonight but couldn't be here, so I'm coming just to offer up any questions that you might have about the proposal that she has for the May 2nd electric vehicle show. I am going to serve as the, I forget what you call it, but it's like the boss or whatever of the event for the National Plug-in Day. And so I can answer any questions that you may have about what the event is or what happens when the folks come and show off their electric vehicles. And obviously, a lot of stuff is in flux right now, so we'll just take it as it comes to see if we're going to still have that event on May 2nd. But I just wanted to offer I'm here in case you had any questions.
So it's one of the items on my chart there that
Yes,
I
sir.
made to let people know,
Great.
which is good. I'm assuming the 2 electrical chargers we have could be used if needed?
Yes, sir, they could. They are around the corner and down the street a little bit, but some of the vehicles that come to that event may choose to like plug in for a few hours or, you know, an hour or something before or after.
It's in the parking lot.
Oh, yes, you are correct. In my head, I was thinking the senior center, but you
No.
are correct. It
Okay.
is in that parking lot where the art walk is going to happen. Correct. Thank you for the correction. Yes, they can and they likely will, the ones that have cars with shorter vehicle range. The ones that have vehicles with plenty of range, they usually choose not to plug in because they don't need to. But yeah, it'll be very similar to the event that we had at the farmer's market last, I think it was September, October. We used the farmer's market for a similar event, so yes, they will be able to plug in there.
You know how many vehicles you may have signed up so far?
So far, we have 2 of my vehicles and 1 of Olga's vehicles, which we can flex and decide not to bring them if we get a lot more interest. And we have 1 other vehicle registered so far. Last September, October, when we had the event, I'm forgetting which month it was, we had 9 cars. And so we're thinking that we might have about that again. And Olga has also been talking to the, I think it's Orange and Rockland, the power company. They have a program where they will bring an electric vehicle around to communities and show it and talk about some of the electricity concerns with electric vehicles. So they said that they would support our event as well. So there may be giveaways and handouts and things that they would give information from the power company.
That's great. And so speaking about information, since we do have the 2 charging stations there, is there a possibility that we may be able to contact that charging station company, and maybe they could have somebody here to explain how that actually works to people that don't have one yet?
Sure. Yes, sir. We will definitely look into that. And myself as well, I plan on being there the whole day. I've been driving an electric car for 9 years now, And I have lived in 3 different states where I installed a charger in my home. And so I can answer common questions that people always have about the chargers, but that's a great thought. We'll reach out to the company that has the charger and see if they'll provide some information.
That'd be great. And one last quick question. So maybe you could set up some type of a small map or just bullet points as to where the other charging stations are generally within, I don't know, 40 miles?
Yes,
Or
sir.
is that too
Yeah,
many?
no, it's not too many. We certainly can. There's some great maps online. We can print them out like on poster size and have that available for people to look at.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
for having me.
Yeah. And anything else in the future that you want to do, you know, for the public, so we can learn, come to us.
Great. Thank
We'll
you.
make it
sir.
happen.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. Anything?
Hi, yes, thank you. I was just wondering if the village board had made any determination on the traffic on Parry and Drew and the parking spaces on Parry and Drew. Any determination or,
Yeah,
yes, you're nodding yes, so.
Well, because that was decided quite a while ago, and the decision, it's been said in public a few times.
I'm sorry, I wasn't here
That's
last
okay, you're talking about the two-way traffic?
week. Yes,
There will be no two-way on Perry or Drew.
okay.
That's not gonna
And
happen.
that keeps our parking spaces.
That's not gonna happen.
The nine
I
parking.
was committed to not anyone losing their spaces.
I hate to be to move
Sorry.
on, I hate to be like a rumor monger, but I've heard that there was comments made that the village is sitting on a $3 million grant that is to be applied to the power, the change of the power lines, and I don't know, this is,
I only wish, absolutely not. There have been meetings with Orange and Rockland. 3. The second 2 were, out of the 3 with Orange and Rockland, were a lot about what would need to be done as far as doing this on Main Street, and you'd have to go all the way up to Clyce Avenue and West Street and come down, and it's quite entailed. But even more than that, it's at least $1 million, and then there's going to be a cost to the property owners, i.e. the commercial establishments. And so, being so high, that's not going to happen. And as far as a grant, I only wish. We're good at getting grants, but we have not gotten a $1 for
I will
telephone
chastise
lines.
those people who.
Please,
who mentioned that.
Please,
Okay.
because it's so.
Thank you for setting the
No,
record straight.
listen, because you're in the thick of it, I would put you in the thick of it because of where you live. I understand. I understand why you come. You should come. I'm glad that you come. Well, we know each other. You call me. You stop me. I'll tell you,
Okay.
or anyone here. But
Sure.
you know, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you. You know that.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'd like to open up a public hearing on the amendment of the vehicle and traffic law. This pertains to Station Hill. You have the paperwork in front of you. What it is making, Station Hill is a public road, and it's going to allow parking on Station Hill for a total of 10 cars, 10 vehicles. On the right side as you turn down on Station Hill Road off of West Point Highway. Any comments?
I don't think it's for just 10 cars. I think this local law is actually to allow parking on that road.
It lifts the restriction.
On that
There's
road.
no
Yeah.
parking.
Well, we're only going, yeah, okay, but it's for 10 spots. And if there needs to be from the beginning of the road down to where the 10 spots are, Well, actually, it
You
wouldn't
put
be,
no parking signs there.
yeah,
But it does lift the restriction of parking, of no parking.
okay.
On the whole road.
On the
So
whole road.
it's not designated in 10 spaces, we're just lifting it, whatever spaces are put in at a later date and time.
That's
Right?
correct.
Is that how I read this law correct?
Yes, right now, under your local law, you don't allow any parking
Right.
anywhere. So this
Okay.
is.
So it's allowed parking on Station Hill Road, we all know it pertains to the 10. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll close the public hearing.
You need a motion for that, at least?
Yes.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, second by trustee Livesey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This parking space lease agreement, is not for tonight,
It was for discussion.
discussion.
I don't know if the board has had an opportunity to really look at this lease, but
I-
I would suggest that you,
I don't think so, and that's why I said, I don't think it's for tonight, but we can take care of it.
if there are any
Yeah.
questions.
I have one, but
So, Merv,
It's tentative, of course.
this whole thing is tentative.
Okay.
It has not been discussed at all amongst us or anyone else.
So I make a motion to table this.
Can I ask you to hold that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jim?
no, item number 11, I'm not sure what page it is, I think it might be page 4. I'm not crazy about his ability to sublet it, unless I'm reading that wrong. So if we do decide to do it, it's for parking and parking only. If he wants to do something else, then he'd have to come ask us.
Okay.
I would agree with that, trustee.
I mean, the rest of it's, I'm just speaking for myself, I was able to read through it. It seems pretty standard, a lot of it. But that was the only thing that concerned me. And the other thing was insurance, but I saw that there was an insurance thing. I'm not sure what number it was. Indemnity insurance, and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm assuming all that paragraph says either it has to indemnify or provide insurance or both. Okay. Those are my two concerns. Obviously, there'll be more discussion on it, but those are the two that jumped out at me.
Okay.
There's quite a bit, Elise, that we're gonna have to go through.
Yeah,
It talks about 15 parking spaces on Station Hill when it's only 10.
correct.
And then what I would like to know is, will this lease agreement, the same lease agreement when it's completed, have the 5 at the Senior Citizen Center? Or is that a separate agreement?
If the
lease?
board wishes to include those 5
We
here,
could.
you can,
Okay. Okay.
or you could make them separate. You may want different rules for those
Okay.
parking spots.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just the beginning to give the board an idea of what's being requested.
The lease is only in the beginning stages of being negotiated, so it really shouldn't have been it should not have been in the package.
That's my fault, I think
That's
I
fine.
asked Regina
That's
to put
okay.
it on.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
One small thing, I don't know how you would word it, but, and I think we had mentioned this real quick, that depending on whether you do one lease or 2, that he has to exhaust the 10 at the Station Hill before he goes to the, I don't know if the board would be okay with that, but I would say let him use the Station Hill first before he goes to
I
the
like
Senior
that.
Center.
I like that actually.
So that, like the Senior Citizen Center would be like the runoff
Yeah.
of the 10.
I'll incorporate it. Okay, so any more comments on that? Here's what I would ask you to do. Please read it. please either email me or stop by with your comments and things you want me to either add or subtract within the next few days, so that I can start to negotiate. Okay?
I'm not comfortable with the time. I don't think it's long enough.
Okay.
For
So,
sure.
again,
It's just one minute.
again, I'm not gonna write that down, but you have to give that to me,
Okay.
okay?
And that's based on not only from our standpoint, but from the standpoint of the entity that's gonna be leasing it. Because what happens if we were to terminate, or he terminates, he needs those spaces for the rooms that are available. And then what happens if he doesn't have spaces to the rooms? That's a big concern of mine, and I just wanna make sure he's covered somehow, some way. Because I would hate to see him, the building department tell him that he has to either find spaces or he can't rent out 15 rooms.
Okay, please give that to me in writing. And if anyone else has any comments, please. And then we'll sit down and talk about a semi-final agreement, okay?
Yes.
All right, now let's have
So
a,
we're tabling that.
I'm sorry, tabled by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Let's have a discussion on the stormwater management for 11 Main Street. For those, 11 Main Street is the old Nicole's where the church is going. You have it there before you. Tonight won't be the only opportunity, but over the next few days, if you have any additional comments over and above the ones you'll make tonight, I need them so that the village clerk and the village attorney and I can sit down and work this out. I will tell you that for me, the village will have its own engineer inspect.
That's the sticking point.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm
why-
not sure why it should be a sticking point, right?
I'm not sure either. The only, I think I mentioned that it may be a matter of cost.
Well, Well, I'm sorry, but I'll have my Fox look at it, not theirs.
If I may say,
I mean,
if I may say one thing, I've seen a sketch of what's gonna be built there. I'm just looking at parking.
It's been approved.
It has been approved.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, and as I recall, there was.
How many spots?
You know, I don't remember exactly how many. I do know they needed to go to the ZBA for a variance. They did get that variance based on testimony that many of their members actually are in West Point, and they bus them down.
I understand all of that, the busing, and I've heard that already too. But I do have a concern with parking because, number one, it looks like it's gonna be beautiful, but it's also gonna be huge. And from what I understand, it will be definitely filled when it's operational. So we have to think about how many cars are gonna be.
Well, that's been,
And that-
Okay.
No, I know it's been passed, but I just wanted to mention that on this meeting on Monday on camera that I mentioned it.
Mayor, on that, I guess that's number 4,
mhm.
where the owner will not hire an engineer.
Yeah, that's what I just told them.
Right, so all we gotta do is create a fee, right?
Typically what happens, this is the standard agreement actually, that I modified very slightly, and then they came back and said, well, we want to hire our own engineer, rather than the municipality hiring an engineer to review the stormwater. Typically, the municipality hires the engineer and they pay for it. The owner, pays for it.
Are you on?
I am.
Okay.
So in this case, they're objecting to that. They want to hire their own engineer, New York State licensed engineer, rather than use one that is hired by the municipality. So I brought that to this board's attention. It seems to be
Today.
quite a sticking point with them. I already said, well, if there's a problem, I suggested there could be language how you would come to a resolution of that problem. Your engineer, they don't like your engineer, how do you resolve that problem? But I don't think that's it, I think it's the money.
Question, more of a question. I mean, if they were to hire their certified engineer, I'm okay with that to a degree, but our guys gotta sign off on whatever the report is. I don't necessarily need to have our engineer inspect, but my engineer's gonna sign off on it.
Our engineer will not sign off on another engineer's say-so.
Okay, so
Yeah,
then,
that's,
perfect.
I know that.
I'm good with that, so then that's pretty much the be all and end all.
I mean, I can respond to them if the board is adamant about that, and I don't blame you, I'll just say that's not negotiable.
Well, you can do that, or we can possibly get a very, very good ballpark price from Todd to let them know what it will be, however you want to do it. Unless they have a church member as an engineer,
Well, see, that's what I
if they
think
do, then they could probably get it, but I'm not,
I think that's the issue in
Okay.
a nutshell.
all right.
And there's nothing you're gonna be able to do about that,
No.
Right.
So I think my recommendation is the standard language is that the municipality hires the engineer, period. And I would leave it at that.
Mr. Mayor, so we are an MS4 community, correct?
Yes,
Right. So in the end, we are responsible. In other words, our engineer,
I know.
this board is responsible. And if their engineer was to do it, he could just wash his hands of it, and we would be stuck with fines or whatever if it didn't comply. So it's something that we should probably look at also.
Okay, Elise,
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna move on.
Okay. I'll go back to them and say,
Right,
the deal's the deal.
right.
Okay.
Can't sound that foreign to them. You know,
I'll put it in the legal.
Maybe attach a Bible verse to the
yeah, let's find a,
email, just to
But
soften it.
everything else is okay.
Just to soften it up a
As long as the
little.
municipality, for example, the inspection once every 5 years rather than for 1 year. I put that in, because every year,
Well, why don't we look and see what the MS4?
I'll ask Todd about that, if that's okay with you
yes,
guys.
oh no, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Absolutely.
Because that's gonna probably have to be incorporated into the report, or MS4. Being that it's a new stormwater management practice that's being taken in the village.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So I'll move on. For the next item for discussion is the Old Guard Hotel off-site drainage. You have that letter there, here from our engineer. I just want to point out that they have to replenish the money that we're holding by $5,964.01, because the agreement was that we would hold $34,500. And again, they're down $5,964.01 from that amount of money. They're looking for something from us that says the off-site improvement are completed. And I feel that we shouldn't give them what they're asking for until we receive, again, that $5,964.01. And I also would like to have something in writing, a commitment about Fickens Field that has not been left the way they found it. From the field itself being a mess, it needs soil in there, topsoil, it needs grass seed, and the pile of rocks, they're not rocks, the pile of boulders that are out front just off Rope Avenue Road that look absolutely terrible. Here we are doing all we can to beautify this community, and then now it's such an eyesore. Unless you're one that likes boulders, it's an eyesore. So I actually think that those two items should be taken care of before the Old Guard Hotel gets what they're asking for.
I'd agree on that.
Couldn't agree more.
So, I will talk to Elise about this tomorrow, and the village clerk, and we'll figure out a way, probably through a letter, to state that those are two areas we need attention brought to, for them to get what they need. Okay? Thank you. New business, we have minutes. We had 3 meetings, 2 of them were budget meetings. We had a special budget meeting on February the 29th, 2020. We had our regular meeting 2 weeks ago, March the 2nd, 2020, and then we had another special budget meeting on March the 7th, 2020. Could we have those approved?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo and seconded by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is to authorize the mayor to sign an intermunicipal agreement for shared services with the Orange County Department of Planning and shared services for categories in data services. You have that before you. If you take a moment to read it, it would take my signature, approval by you, to have this sent back to the county. We do participate, which saves the village money in these intermunicipal agreements for shared services with the county. So I would recommend that you approve.
If there's no objections, I'll make a motion that we sign the intermunicipal agreement with the shared services with Orange County.
Second.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next, I would like approval to sign the Section 8 one-year renewal agreement. You have the renewal agreement before you. This agreement made and entered into on the 16th day of March, 2020, by and between the Village of Highland Falls Housing Agency, having its principal offices located at 303 Main Street, Highland Falls, New York, and Joseph E. Mastroianni, Inc., 11 Federal Street, Saratoga Springs. And for those that might not know, this is a company that runs our Section 8 program. The fees that they charge are taken out of what we receive, so there's no local tax dollars going towards this service for the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. So if I could have that approved to sign, it would be appropriate. Motion by trustee Livesey. Is there a second? Trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. I will sign these documents tomorrow. I would like to set a hearing, a public hearing for the tentative budget for Monday, April the 6th, 2020, here at the Village Hall at 6:30. The treasurer will be here and read the budget for a public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I would like to also set our annual reorg meeting for the same night, the 6th of April, 2020, here at the Village Hall, 15 minutes later at 6:45 p.m.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Ramus, seconded by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I have asked the LA Group, as you all know, to put in for the 5th year for the DRI grant, which is the $10 million grant for Main Street. We've come very, very close. Recently, we had a phone conference call between the LA folks, myself, and the state, who looks at our grants, our submission of the DRI grant, and came up with 3 areas that they thought we should do a little right up on. And we know those areas. This here, what's on the agenda tonight is for the LA Group to submit the DRI application for this year for $6,500. I think it could be money spent wisely, and see what happens.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. We're gonna work hard again to try to make that happen. I have a budget resolution here. Unexpected IT maintenance costs were received, now therefore be it resolved that the following budget transfer be approved. $1,129.36 taken from the A1990.1990, which is the general fund contingency, into the same amount, $1,129.36, into the A1680.0400 technical support contractual. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much. Last week, we had opening of bids for the 2 vendor spots in parking lot number 2 across from Sacred Heart. There are, again, two different spots. We only had one vendor submit, of course, for one of the spots. And that was Jesse Marvin, DBA 2 Dogs Hot Dogs, 29 Villa Parkway, $300. So being the only bid, he was the highest bid for that spot, and the other spot will not be filled.
So last year's vendor did not come back?
Correct.
This spot number 2 then, is that going to remain still vacant until someone does?
That would be a decision the board should make, and they could make it tonight, to keep it open, or that we do away with it completely.
Well, I think the first thing would be is that number 2, is that going to be our limit of spots?
Well, that's up to us again. I'm not trying to avoid the answer.
I think that would be a good idea, to limit it to 2 spots, and let the public know that we have an open spot out there.
Well, it is 2 spots now,
Right,
so there's nothing we have to do about that.
but if we were to say, if somebody were to come into the office next week and say, hey, I understand that there's another vendor spot that was taken last year.
The board would have to decide to take that particular
Yeah,
quote or bid,
yeah.
or the board could decide to go out with another ad, and this person who has shown up,
Mhm.
or others could submit.
Or our good paper could put that she was at the board meeting and she heard this discussion going on.
Well, I'm not sure if that'll happen. She actually doesn't look well tonight. I'm a little worried. Look at her. She's all, face is all red, she's sneezing.
Says she's just allergies.
Huh?
Says allergies.
She says it's allergies, but in this day and age, I'm not sure. Okay.
Check your temperature.
You maybe should send me home.
I would, just on the second vendor spot, I mean, I'm sure it would probably cause a headache for the clerk's office if we just leave it open. So either we're gonna put it in the paper to one more time, and then that's it for the year, or, you know what I mean, like, it shouldn't just be open-ended for whenever. So if it's 2 months from now, someone just comes rolling in and wants to.
Well,
take
I think to be fair, the fair way probably to do it is not word of mouth,
No, put one more in the
but we should
paper,
put
and
a
that's
legal
it.
notice in the paper again, if that's what you're asking, and see it, and put a deadline, a bid opening, and see if anyone comes in.
Okay, so I would second on trustee's request there then.
Oh,
Okay?
pretty easy.
Okay, Gina? Madam Clerk?
Yes. You didn't take action on the first bid, are you gonna do that?
I know, I didn't get there yet. Trying. All right, let's do, I'd like to have a motion to accept the lone bidder of 2 Dogs, Hot Dogs, $300.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, second by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, may I have a motion that we go out with another legal notice for the second spot again,
Motion.
with a submission and a bid opening. Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee DeSalvo, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. All right, Road Park bids, we've been waiting for this. Specs were drawn up by the LA Group on 3 different renovations for Road Park, the swimming pool, the playground resurfacing, the rubber matting as I call it, and the basketball court repaving. We have $140 in grant money, $140,000 in grant money to do these projects. The good news is that all 3, when I add them up, came in under the 140, but we will also use what's left to go towards the LA Group for the preparation, etc., of these 3 grants, for which this grant allows. That's the important part. So, for the swimming pool, the bid was from B&B Pool Services, $44,326.18. It was the only bid. Now, the good news also here is that we've had B&B Pool Services before for our pool, and they've worked out well. So there's a little history there. So we'll take these individually as a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Howard, may I have roll call?
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye, motion carries, thank you so much. Next, we have the playground resurfacing, which is the rubber matting, as I call it, where the children's playground is. There's some rough spots there. I will tell the community that the day will come when we probably are going to have to replace the whole area, but this time around, we're going to take out the bad areas and repair. So, we have PAT, P-A-T, Consorti, $23,945. $23,945. Now, on this one, I thought, obviously not being in the business, I thought it was going to be higher, so it is what it is, and it's $23,945. If I could have a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee DeSalvo. May I have roll call?
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. The third is the basketball court. And there were 3 bids. You have those before you. Now, this is a bid that I thought was too high. The low bidder is higher than I thought it would be. So it shows you what I know. But you see the low bid there, $57,110. $57,110. The other 2 bidders, one was almost $75,000 and one was almost $80,000. So the low bid that the LA Group, after looking at the bids and making sure their background, etc., and everything's been submitted, has recommended the $57,110.
I just have a couple of questions on that.
Mhm.
First question is, are they going to remove the,
Yes. The current blacktop?
are they going to remove the basketball nets and the posts and then blacktop it and remount them? Because the reason why, by just blacktopping is going to bring it up and it's not going to bring the height correct.
I would have to look at the specs, which we can do.
That's important.
Okay.
And then the second thing is, are they going to market?
Again, it calls for marking, whether it's that company specifically, or they have someone come in.
Okay,
But that has to be done, we know that.
yeah. But I think it's important with the nets to find that out.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Yes, your answer, yes, I will.
Okay.
Do we have a time schedule on when the work might be finished?
In the specs.
In the spec, okay, I'll take a look at the spec. Thank you.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around that number,
Yeah,
and I think it might be important to at least tell the public, like what the other two bids came in at. Because the low bid was 57,110, but the next lowest bid was, did you just do that?
I did.
If I was in another room.
Well, I'll do
Because I'm
it,
just-
no, that's
I can't-
okay. The low bid, no, it's okay, I did, but the low bid was 57,110. And so everyone knows, we never, no matter what the item is, whether it's paving a road or a pump at the water plant, we never take the low bid, just take the low bid. And I'm not saying this to you guys, because you guys know this, but the engineer, in this case, the LA Group, architects, took back all the bids. They were here for the bid openings last week, along with the clerk and myself, and they take it back, and it takes them like a week. They review to make sure, first of all, that all this is the bid deposit, all the things, the documents, the hold harmless, the non-conclusive bond, all that's all in place. Then he'll say yes. And so, in these three cases, in these three cases, there was, in two of the jobs, there was only one bidder each. This one was 57,000, almost 75,000, and almost 80. So those numbers were high. Again, I thought the 57 was high,
I agree.
you know? And I gotta tell you, I was basing that off how much, because now I'm very familiar on how much it costs to pave a road with all the road paving we did last year. We do
Quite a bit of road.
quite a bit of road for 57,000.
I know.
But there are some other areas that and I brought this up with our engineer, the fence has to come down, the fence has to go back up. There's other areas that are making the price go up in replacing the blacktop basketball court. So, that I didn't think of. So anyway. Did we approve the 57 yet?
No, we're still talking about
Okay,
it.
okay. So we're down to that if you care to approve it.
Well, again, my question is on the nets. How they're planning on doing that. Because in other words, if you have the advanced kids, I'll say the advanced kids up there, which do go up there quite often, and they're having a basketball game, just in 6 inches alone, difference on that net is gonna mean a lot right or wrong on that net, you know? Especially on the rim,
I wrote a note.
so.
I would think for $57,000, that's gonna be like probably the best basketball court in Orange County.
Well, I sure hope so, but I want to make sure that.
I mean, if they're just doing an overlay, that number's gotta change.
What, Mr. Mayor, when do you?
No, they're not doing an overlay. You mean an overlay on top of what's there?
Because I think that's where Mr. Lindsay's question.
No, it's not a question of mine. I just want to question that they are actually, I'd like to know how they're, $57,000. We want to make sure that they're not.
The nets are set at a proper height, how does that seem?
Exactly.
A little bit better?
Exactly.
You know,
Well, that's what I'm
why,
saying.
Mr. Trustee Lewis? Because the local football kids go up there and they practice.
That's what I mean.
And-
That's my advanced kids. you
Yeah,
know.
you know, and it wouldn't be fair to them up there practicing, and then all of
And
a
if-
sudden
and
they
if
miss
it's-
a shot.
if it's
All right,
off.
let's be careful. I'll get you the answer. Yes.
There will be a pre-construction meeting before anything
Okay.
starts,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
of which, after tonight, and he knows the board approved everything, it will contact with the mayor to set that up. And if at that meeting, the mayor can make sure
Because I know that
with
they are at the proper
the LA
height right
group
now.
that that's done.
Okay. See what I did? I had to raise that question and.
You want us to approve
Yeah,
one at a time?
no, we only have to do the last one,
You have not done any motion on it yet.
on the last one, right?
Right.
May I have a motion to approve the $57,110 for paving and seal coating of the basketball court?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
You'll second it with no enthusiasm.
No enthusiasm, but
Okay.
it's
Let
for
it
the
be noted.
kids, it's for the kids, so let's rock and roll.
Well,
May-
I'd like to say, but again, I'd like to know what the answer is to the question.
But we're gonna have the construction meeting before this.
And I'm gonna get you, those answers, because you know why?
Aye.
Because I wrote it down.
Aye.
If I write it down, so it be done.
Did you say trustee
Trustee
Lindsay?
Alward.
May I have roll call?
Trustee Alward,
Aye.
trustee
Aye,
Livesey,
aye,
trustee
aye.
Ramus,
Aye.
trustee DeSalvo,
Yes.
Mayor Denarfino.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. The things that I wouldn't think would be issues are issues. And the things that I would think would be issues aren't issues.
You get one of them kids up there and he does a slam dunk, like no problem. That's gonna be-
We wanna just keep you guessing, that's all.
Well, how come you did it there and you can't do it up at the high school?
We wanna just keep you guessing.
That you do. All right. Now, let's take care of this young lady over here, because she's sitting here because of this item on the agenda. Which you really didn't have to, hon. It's okay. Although we like to have people in the audience, isn't it? Okay,
Never heard that.
let's, you have the Village Forum, the electric vehicle car show.
Yes.
If our TV monitor could just zero in again on this, I'd appreciate it. Now, I want everyone to remember that I did that up today. I don't know what the virus is going to do to these events. Some will be canceled maybe. Do you know about the Easter egg hunt yet?
They're gonna wait a week or so and decide.
Okay, so they're still going to wait a week. So those items right there are going to happen pending future notification because of the virus that they won't. Now, on there, so on the agenda is the electrical vehicle car show. May 2, 9 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, at municipal lot number 2. Again, I like to say across from Sacred Heart is lot number 2. Insurance is on the back, everything is in order. May I have approval?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next is the Village Event Forum, West Point, Town of Highlands Farmers Market, from June 14th, which is a Sunday, to October 25th, 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Again, parking lot number 2. Insurance is in order. And this item, along with the electric car show, again, is, this year will be a little different with the virus that's going on, but I'm hoping the warm weather comes and the virus goes away and we don't have any hiccups with the farmer's market. May I have a motion?
Motion.
I just wanted to comment first, Mr. Rebel, please.
Sure, go ahead.
This event's been going on for many years in the village, and I think it's great. It grows every year like a lot of the events that we have.
Cleaning services,
And I'm happy to see that they're coming back, and I just hope they get some more vendors like they do, like they have done in the past. Sorry, Mr.
I have a motion on the floor from trustee Howard,
Second.
farmer's market. I have a second from trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have bills and claims for fiscal year 2019, 2020 of $95,076.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
I'll make a second to pay the bills and claims.
Second by trustee DeSalvo, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Again, as I said before, I have an email here from the chairman of the ZBA Jack Jannerone that he has canceled the next meeting, which is on March the 18th, this Wednesday, due to the virus. I have him, and I know that the planning board also has canceled the planning board meeting because of the virus. We would like to congratulate the St. Patrick's Day Committee for a fantastic parade. It's their fifth year for us, and you can see that it's growing in the length of the parade, more participants. And so we thank them for this event, and I am looking forward to the 6th, on March 7th, next year, in March of 2021. I received this in the mail a few days ago from the Census Bureau. It was the only one piece of paper in the envelope. It tells you to go online, respond by April 1. It gives you the website, my2020census.gov. I have my own, like everyone else that received this, ID number. It took me 5 minutes. It took Mary Jane 4, but I need to be honest, it took me 5.
I timed it.
I wanted to beat your 4 and I didn't. But this is so easy to do, and if you do this, no one's going to knock on your door. Otherwise, they're going to knock on your door. No one likes to see somebody standing out there with a clipboard. So please, if you go online, it's so easy. These are the rocks that I was talking about, boulders over at Fickens Field, that I hope get taken care of by the company. I have to read this into the record because I was asked. It's an email I received from William Green. William Green lives on Drew Avenue. Dear board members, my wife Kathleen and I live at 17 Drew Avenue. Unfortunately, we will be traveling and will not be able to make it to tonight's planning board session. We have some strong concerns about the proposed Thayer Flats Hotel Convention Center and would like to have this letter read into the official meeting minutes. Our family has lived on Drew Avenue for over 50 years. We have enjoyed the unfeathered view of the Garrison Mountainside and the Osborne Castle. We enjoy seeing helicopters flying low over the Hudson River. And although we are on the lower portion of Drew Avenue, the eastbound one-way access maintains an orderly passage for vehicles. Sadly, the Thayer Flats project will definitely impact our current way of life. As you know, the proposed building is to be 6 stories tall. Today, it seems that the highest building in the area is 3 stories tall. These additional 3 stories will absolutely block a great deal of our view of the countryside, which saddens us. We have heard that the project owners want to turn our current one-way eastbound access into a 2-way road. Our house has a single driveway, and there is scant parking on the street now. Any change in the direction and corresponding elimination of parking would be a huge problem for us and our neighbors. We have heard that the project owners want to lease parking spots at the senior center. Our house abuts the lane leading into the senior center with an aging retaining wall along it. Currently, there is only a few cars that use the lane. We are concerned that increased traffic could impact the retaining wall. If that wall is compromised, who would pay to repair it? Thayer Flats? The town. Naturally, also increased traffic on Drew would come hand in hand with the new hotel convention center. We already see cars speeding down the road. Increased traffic would increase the likelihood of even more cars speeding, which in turn causes a larger safety issue than we have today. These are the main points we wanted to raise and hope that the planning board and the Planning Board of Appeals take these points into consideration while reviewing the site plans. Kathy and I look forward to attending future meetings, but in the meantime, please feel free to contact us if you would like more opinions on the matter. William and Kathleen Green. Okay, the LA group, as I mentioned several times already, is following through with the DR grant, the DRI $10 million grant. Lady Cliff Park, the LA group is to do a concept plan adding a water fountain. I asked to have a water feature put in Lady Cliff Park. Also, there'll be one meeting for the public for input, plans, and suggestions. The local waterfront report is being done. I shared that, I gave you guys the copy of that today, and it has questions there. So as soon as you can give me back the answers, I'd appreciate it. We have to decide if we want to move forward with the Holland Falls Marina. I've asked the LA group to look at the 2 welcome signs to Highland Falls. There's one at South Main Street, there's one up here on Mountain Avenue on the downside of the water plant. They need some attention with greenery or flowers and maybe painting. I've asked them to look into federal tourism dollars. I was, one day I punched in Christian Julebaran, our New York State Senator, and she had a whole webpage on federal tourism dollars for which she sits on. Wednesday, the day after tomorrow, with my highway superintendent, along with the town supervisor and the town's street superintendent, are going to meet over at the Little League field to see if we can work together, which I know we can and will, to make the Little League field presentable. It's very, very bad right now. There's been no attention given to it. And so there will be a meeting Wednesday morning that I'll be at. Lady Cliff Park, I just mentioned. Elise, we spoke on the phone, B&Bs. And so I need to bring that back to the table. And the town is interested in looking into a new law code. And I think we need to talk about what the village's issues are, which may be the same or they could be different. I know one of them was parking in the village, where these B&Bs are, lack of parking. And maybe we should have a work session on this and get our issues on paper and then speak to the town, see what their issues are, and then maybe see if we can draw up the same law. I don't know, but that'll be up to your help and Justin's.
I had, I think, circulated several Airbnb
Yes.
local laws, so,
You did.
yeah, I think a lot of communities are struggling with this right now. And in fact, I'm hearing more and more of investors who come into villages and towns that do not have any regulations, buy up properties strictly to rent out, which really disrupts residential neighborhoods. So I think it is important to move forward with this. I think if you could send me your comments on what you think the issues are, we can certainly have a workshop to discuss, and then perhaps we sit down with the town at that point, see what their concerns are.
Okay, that's all we'll do. Let's try to take maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, any concerns you have with B&Bs, either give them to the village clerk or send them directly to Elise. Today I had a meeting with Verizon. Now, Verizon is different aspects of our life. What I'm talking about is the telephone service, for which has been interrupted now for the last month, I'd say. Businesses, residential areas, some are back online, some are not. They are replacing underground cables. There was a lot of water damage down here at the bottom of Mountain Avenue, where they were working for over a week. Quite a bit of water got in there coming down the hill, Mountain Avenue, and went in there. And so they're putting new copper cables in. And it's been quite an ordeal for them, but again, it's caused us a lot of issues here with phones.
And internet.
Pardon?
And internet.
And internet, of course. And so they're working as quick as they can. Right now, there's a couple of homes that are out, and they're directly working on those properties to get that service put on. They're looking at bringing FiOS here, which is in Rockland County, in Suffern and Haverstraw. I hear folks want FiOS. There's a lot of permitting from the state that has to be done to get it from Suffern and Haverstraw to here. It's quite a distance to bring this cable this way. But they're working on it. And so, it's best that I can, it's being taken care of. I'm going to report, not to be any mysteries here, but we received another grant, but I'm going to hold off on making the announcement until March 25th, because that's the date the state is actually going to make the announcements, and so until then, I'll hold off when they make the announcement. I feel it's a sure thing already, but I'm going to wait. Brian, I have some building department papers for Bruce, if you could stop in and see me. This is my folder on Orange and Rockland and moving the poles, and we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to move these poles, and the village obviously doesn't have it. As much as we don't like to look at the poles, and as much as we don't like to look at the wires, until I can find the pot of gold, which I always keep looking for, this folder will be right here.
Good luck with that.
I've been asked about the water, our water, or reservoir safe yield. We're producing 610,000 gallons a day. That's with 3 leaks that we're working on. 2 of them are homeowners' leaks and 1 is ours, and we're working on all 3. The homeowners have to fix their own. The plant has a limit of producing 720,000. And we have a safe yield of 700,000 gallons a day. Now, for me, I know we have millions of gallons a day of safe yield, but the Department of Health comes up with a safe yield of 700,000 gallons, taking the worst drought year in the past 100 years. And by going by that number, by that particular year, we have 700,000 gallons a day of safe yield. There is a way for us to, by putting batter boards up on the spillway of maybe 18 inches, that we could add 100 to 150,000 gallons of more water to the safe yield, bringing it up to close to 900,000, which we can talk about in the future.
Quite a bit.
The clerk has given me a suggestion on renting out and the responsibilities of those renting out the Senior Citizen Center, and so I will be talking to you guys about that. Verizon, when it pertains to cell phones, and Sprint, there's been meetings downstairs with possibly some antennas on the roof here. Nothing to talk about more than that. I'm bringing Clint Smith, thank you, in. I've been talking to him. He's the gentleman that we met one time downstairs at a meeting. He's our consultant. I'm looking to get an escrow from Verizon that we can use to pay Clint and any work that our attorney does. But I am working very hard to make this happen this year. We need cell phone service. We don't have it. And I think we're going to have it before this year is out. There's a couple of hydrants, Merv, that I'm going to give you, maybe either email or put it in your box that need the water department's attention.
Okay.
I've directed the water department and the highway department to get up to Bog Meadow as soon as possible to start to cut down brush and any other items that they can take care of. It's important that we go this time of year before the snakes start coming out.
And the greenery, it's the best time to get it right now.
Last meeting, we wanted Thairgate Flats to put an escrow in of $5,000. Attorney and engineering, a letter was sent to Thairgate Flats, and within days, a $5,000 check for escrow is now in our account. You'll see in different places, Lady Cliff Park on the ramp side. You'll see down here across from the funeral home, new sidewalks are being put in. That's our highway department doing that, so we don't have to go out to hire an outside contractor. These are pretty good, we have pretty good, most of the guys are pretty good in what they do. They all have some specialties, and they're being able to do a lot of the concrete sidewalk work. I've ordered two new fountains for Roe Park. The one fountain we had over there wasn't quite working right, and I've ordered a second one. So over at the pond at Roe Park, there'll be two, one at each end. I would like to have suggestions on the blacktop paths that are in Memorial Park. They've been there, they've been there forever, and it's time we replace them with something different. At the time they were put in, blacktop paths were maybe the thing to do, but it could be concrete, it could be blacktop again, it could be concrete, it could be pavers. Different items, of course, cost different amounts of money to do, but I would take some suggestions on replacing the blacktop paths at Memorial Park. Key Bank has been sold. That's as far as I'll go with that at the moment. You'll be glad to know that that's it. Mr. Allen.
That's good information.
For the telephones, it's been more than a month, it's been a couple of months. They came to our house on Saturday, that's not been repaired yet, and the gentleman told me they have 9 houses to go to, all through the village. So,
Your house is one of them?
yeah, one of them, yeah.
From Verizon?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
I'll call them tomorrow.
a couple of them said, you know, these people have been out for a while, the other people too, so it's gonna take a while. Saturday, this Saturday coming up, on the side street saloon, the parking lot, which is on Tobin, they're gonna be asking people from 12 to 3 to come up and drop off essentials such as toothpaste, toilet paper, soap, hand sanitizer, and non-perishable food items for the senior citizens and people who cannot get out of their homes. How would we go about putting that on the, Mayor, how would we go putting that on the emergency text alert? How do we do that?
I'll talk to the chief tomorrow, and he can put a short text out.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. So,
Now, the thing is, and you kind of mentioned it, but a lot of these seniors who these items should probably go to, don't get out. I think of Wine Green.
right, there's a group of people who are putting their names together.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
I ask everyone if you can, please drop off something to help people who are closed in their homes and are elderly. That's it.
Thank you.
The only thing I have is a couple things. I'm gonna probably vent a little bit about a couple things here.
You've never done that before.
And I've never done that. So, of course, the coronavirus, that's on everybody's mind right now, what's going on in the community, what's going on in the world today. There's been a lot of changes. It's weird out there right now. It really is. I mean, you're going through something right now we're just not used to this. And I commend everybody that's working with this, and we're trying to move forward as much as we can. There's some things that I understand being moved forward, and there's some things that I disagree with. I know there's been a lot of closing on events and gatherings and clubs and all of that. There's been a lot of meetings that have been canceled because you don't want a certain amount more people inside of a room. Where on the other hand, you look sometimes and you'll see the subway cars still full, the train's full, the bus is full, the airport's full. So you have to think sometimes now now we have the closure of the schools. I noticed today, I said to myself when I heard about the closure of the schools, is this for the good or is this maybe not so good? And for the good part, you gotta say, okay, the kids are out of the school and they're home and maybe that's the safe place to be. However, I noticed that some of them aren't home, and a lot of them aren't home, and they're out on the streets and they're playing and they're out there. So I go back to myself saying, well, maybe the best place would have been inside the school. We know where they are, and this is not only part of the kids not being at school, it's a hardship on a lot of those families right now with the kids at home. There's meals that have to be out there, the breakfast and the lunch for a lot of those kids that the families rely on. It's the mother or the father now that have to stay home. It's the mother or father now that is not working because maybe where they're at working shut down. And I disagree with what the governor did today. I totally disagree what he did today. And the reason why, when we start talking about food establishments, such as restaurants and all of that, I called up the Board of Health today because I said to them, I want to know exactly what was said. And what was said that as of 8 p.m. tonight, restaurants, which McDonald's and anywhere where there's tables to sit down, it can only be a takeout until 8 p.m. There's no sit down or anything else like that allowed inside of the restaurants. Or food, diners, anything like that. It could only be going in and out. For most people that own a restaurant or a food business or something like that, that's their source of income. When you shut them down, there's no income. There's the savings bank of whatever they should have. It doesn't make any sense to me where if you have a restaurant that's going to have 6 tables a night, and you have a supermarket that's going to have 300 people to 1,000 people that day, where does this make sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me at all with that. Another thing that really bothered me today is when I heard about this, for most restaurants, tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow is a big loss for these restaurants. That's what it is. It's a huge loss. For the businesses here in the village of Highland Falls and other municipalities out there, including New York City and everywhere else, this is a crush on them. All of these closures that are going on right now, this is income of what these people feed off of. This is an income of how they survive. I think the governor and the governor of Connecticut and the governor of Jersey made a huge mistake on this. I do. I think they should have thought this out with more concern for those closures of what's going to happen with those people. There's no time given right now. There's absolutely nothing. I think if we are registered and you have to have a driver's license, and I think that people do those sort of things and they know when they have to go. We have medical clinics here, we have doctor's offices here. There should have been something set up in advance where you go there if you don't feel well. It's pretty much mandatory you have to go there if you don't feel well. Nothing has been said about that. The only thing I've heard so far is tents going up in Anthony Wayne. That's it. I think this is so far, parts of this are done with thought and good intentions, but I think a lot of this has to be thought more, and I think there's a big amount of damage that's being done right now by, especially today, what was put out today. I am in family restaurant business, a lot of people know that. But I'm not standing or talking alone here. I'm sure there's many, many people out there that are understanding what I'm saying. But for the governor right now, I'm totally against what he just did. I really am. I think it's going to crush the state of New York. But if he keeps moving forward, and what really bothers me more, and I'll end this with this in conclusion. Senator Skoufis is on Facebook right now talking about closing stores down in Woodbury now. And my question to Senator Skoufis is, who's gonna support those people? Once you close all them stores down, who is gonna support them? Go after the medical people. Ask them, why are we not moving stronger on this? Why are not more people being tested? Why are not stations more built immediately now? That's my question to them. Thank you.
Merv, the only thing I can, to have the answers to many of the questions you just raised, I would invite you to come downstairs tomorrow here at Village Hall at 4 o'clock. And those are questions, and we'll be on there with the Orange County Executive, the head doctor for the county, the Sheriff's Department, so many people of authority that are making and supporting these decisions. When they get done with their daily briefing, you can ask these questions and maybe get some answers.
And just to say this, Mr. Mayor, you know, your payments that you owe on your car, your mortgage, and all of this other thing, you just try telling them that you didn't make any money this month and you can't make your payment. And you see what those people say to you.
We know that, we know that.
So that's a bother to me.
I don't think we understand what's going to be happening here in the next few days.
Anyway, that's all.
Okay, Jim?
Yeah, real quick, Highland Falls Police Department monthly report for February. There was a total of 1,144 total calls. Of that, 14 total arrests, 108 parking summons, total summonses, $868 in revenue, and 4,195.5 miles driven by the cars. I was able to talk to the chief today and the mayor, and the police department has come up with a COVID-19 response protocol and exposure prevention. So I was glad to see that he has that in place now. I know it's been talked about for a while, but there is a written procedure for coming onto scenes, what happens in the police station, maintaining the police vehicles, the policy in itself, definitions, and just some general, best work practices. Just real quick, I don't want to harp on it, but some of what Trustee Livesey said is completely valid, but I think a lot of it's because we haven't experienced something like this, and I think a lot of it's poking a stick at it. And unfortunately, I think, the media, someone said to me something today, it was very funny. They said that right now the panic is worse than the actual virus. You go to the store and there's no toilet paper, there's no chicken. There's beef, but there's no chicken, like in two different shopping centers up in Five Corners. So everybody just use some common sense and focus on the government websites. They give you the best knowledge. Facebook, on top of the memes and all these other idiotic comments, just stick to the government websites where they give you actual factual data. And after some time, we'll all get through this.
And Trustee Salvo, I agree with you on that. And what really got me today, I go to a gym 6 days a week.
Well, not anymore.
6 days a week I go to a gym. They shut all the gyms down. So for the people that are in the gym, and I've been going to the gym for a long time, I'm also an instructor in the gym. And what really bothers me about that, there are so many people that go to a gym right now because of health reasons. Because of health reasons. And they're not at a gym right now. They can't go. That's unbelievable.
All right, so just to touch base on a couple other things that the governor did say today. He did say that he realizes when the kids are home from school that the space inside your house is gonna get small real fast. So what he did do was he opened up all of the state parks with no fee at all. So maybe that'll get some people outside in more wide open spaces. That was probably one of the only things that I agreed with in his report today. But I was happy to hear that the parks aren't going to get closed. Mr. Mayor, you talked about the water. This week is the Environmental Protection Agency's Water Sense Week. It's Fix the Leak Week. We know we've discussed it here in the past on how much water is leaking in the village. So I would just ask you to please be aware, if you have any leaks out there, get them fixed. Water is a precious resource, and they have a web page, and it's called Saving Water Makes Sense. Go to that web page, and they can give you all tips on how you can actually save water. Again, Orange and Rockland, Mr. Mayor, you were talking about Orange and Rockland. Orange and Rockland, I spoke with a couple of the people out there and some of the workers. They were here in the past week. They sent down a large contingency of meter replacement people. They said they got almost all the meters replaced throughout the village with smart meters.
Yeah.
These smart meters, they're gonna allow you, as a user, to log in and see what your energy uses is in 15-minute increments. So it's gonna give you alerts on your high bills, and other ways how you can avoid it is on their website. That's what I got for today.
Okay, so with those Orange and Rockland smart meters, they have halted replacing them with the smart meters if your current Orange and Rockland meter is in the house, in the basement. They're just taking your name and address. They're not even going to come into your house until all this has passed. Jim?
Yeah, real quick, I actually just, a text popped up on my phone for the students in our district to check the website out regarding instruction, Chromebook lessons, and meal distribution. So go to the Highland Falls Fort Montgomery Central School District website and check out for updates regarding that.
And actually, I did have one other thing, Mr. Mayor. You spoke about the Bog Meadow, and another 100,000 plus gallons that we could have in capacity, if not more, which is great. But we have some water pumps at the water plant that need to be upgraded, and we really should look to see increasing the capacity that the water plant can put out per day, because it only puts out a certain amount. We could have millions of gallons, but if the plant can't produce it, then it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
We didn't do the notice of adoption of the local law.
For the parking.
For the parking?
Correct.
Did you have that?
Yes, I gave you,
Oh.
I gave everyone, the board has a copy.
All right, it looks like this, guys.
I got it.
So this is the Village of Highland Falls resolution of adoption of a local law amendment of the vehicle and traffic law. Whereas the introductory local law titled Amendment of the Village and Traffic Law was introduced before the Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls on this. Are these dates correct?
March 2nd, you
March
introduced
2nd,
the law.
2020, and whereas upon notice duly published and posted, a hearing was held of said local law on the 16th of March 2020, where a public discussion was heard concerning the merits of the said local law, and after hearing from all those present wishing to speak and acknowledging that no written comments have been received by the Board of Trustees, declare the public hearing closed. And whereas the Board of Trustees determines that this is a type 2 action pursuant to regulations implementing the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding no further seeker action. Now therefore, be it resolved that the introductory of the local law entitled Amendment of the Vehicle and Traffic Law of the Village of Highland Falls be and is hereby adopted as local law number 2 of 2020 of the Village of Highland Falls on the 16th of March 2020. If I could have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, may I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee DeSalvo, may I have roll call?
Trustee Allard,
Aye.
trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee Ramus,
Aye.
trustee DeSalvo,
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, we're gonna close, a lot of information tonight. I just wanna leave with two numbers, two phone numbers. And again, they're both extremely important. If you're a senior citizen or disabled younger person and want a meal delivered to your home, you call 615-3710 or call me. Number 2, questions regarding the virus, symptoms, how long, a host of questions, more than a host. Call 291-2330. Any phone numbers that I've given out or websites that I've given out, if you didn't write them down, call the Village Hall tomorrow, 446-3400. That's a number you can remember, and we'll give you the numbers again. It's very, very important. I will tell you, while no one in this room can predict, I think this is going to get bad in many aspects of life. Besides us getting maybe sick, a lot of things that you talked about, a lot of things that we all talked about tonight. This is not going to be pretty. But I know, as everyone up here knows, we're strong. We'll get by this. Highland Falls will get by this. We've been through much, much, much. We're going to get through this. And someday we'll have stories to tell. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, second by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much.